Find the idea. QXH3 plus works only if one defender is overloaded. What would you play? Now rewind. Mikhail Tal has white against Robert James Fischer in Candidates tournament. The point is not to memorize moves. In this episode, track the quiet mystery. The natural answer, the piece with too many jobs, and the square that proves the tactic was prepared. If a move does not change one of those things, we move quickly. If it does, we stop and turn it into a question you can use at the board. First quiet clue. This move earns its screen time by changing the open file before the forcing line appears. This is the first real clue. Now 5. EXD4 is the next pressure test after 2. NC6. Second exchange, not just points. One guard leaves, and the bishop route around move 5 becomes easier to see. The previous checkpoint, 2. NC6. Changed the defender map before 5. EXD4. 5. EXD4 sets up the next question at 6. CXD4. Pause here. What square became harder to defend after 5? EXD4? Third trade with a price tag. If the defender recaptures or ignores it, ask where the king can still breathe. The board is already drifting from 6. CXD4 towards 6. BB4 plus. Fourth king safety audit. If the reply damages the loose defender, the next tactic gets easier. Look back one checkpoint. 6. CXD4 made the position fragile enough for 6. BB4 plus. This is the bridge to 7. BXD2 plus, where the defender has fewer choices. Fifth initiative in plain sight. The motive detail matters because the forced reply still needs an answer. That is why 8. QXD2 is not just notation. It is a new problem created by 7. BXD2 plus. Sixth greed warning. The capture looks local, but it changes the pawn shield near the king. A quiet detail from 7. BXD2 plus is still hanging in the air when 8. QXD2 arrives. Seventh open door. Once that defender disappears, the piece route has fewer obstacles. 10. EXD5 sets up the next question at 10. QXD5. 8th defender audit. If one defender is gone and another is pinned to king safety, what disappears after the exchange? 10. EXD5 is the clue that makes 10. QXD5 less random. 9th forcing checkpoint. Counterplay pauses while we inspect the entry point. Which defender cannot cover both threats? The previous checkpoint, 10. QXD5. Changed the defender map before 11. QE6 plus. This is the bridge to 12. KF1, where the defender has fewer choices. No fireworks yet, but the trap is getting organized around move 12. Watch the rook lift, where the heavy piece can swing next. That is why 12. QC4 plus is not just notation. It is a new problem created by 12. KF1. 11th king safety audit. If the reply damages the minor piece net, the next tactic gets easier. Look back one checkpoint. 12. KF1 made the position fragile enough for 12. QC4 plus. Now 17. AXP5 is the next pressure test after 12. QC4 plus. Pause here. What line open because 12. QC4 plus forced the issue? 12th visible prize, hidden access. After 17. AXP5, the final corridor is easier to use. The move before this changed the board's job list, so 17. AXP5 has more force than it first appears. 13th defender count changes. A safe-looking position turns into a trap when the rook entry has no spare helper. The board is already drifting from 22. FXG3 toward 22. QXG3 plus. 14th timing question. If the defender spends this move on survival, which diagonal lost protection? This is the bridge to 24. F4, where the defender has fewer choices. 15th quiet clue. This move earns its screen time by changing the back rank room before the forcing line appears. 22. QXG3 plus is the clue that makes 24. F4 less random. That is why 25. D6 plus is not just notation. It is a new problem created by 24. F4. 16th forcing checkpoint. Counterplay pauses while we inspect the overload. Which piece has two jobs? The previous checkpoint, 24, F4, changed the defender map before 25, D6 plus, now 27. BD5 is the next pressure test after 25, D6 plus. Pause here. Did 25, D6 plus change material, tempo, or access first? No fireworks yet, but the trap is getting organized around move 27. Watch the tempo race. Who has to answer first? 27. BD5 sets up the next question at 27. BXH 3 plus. 18th king safety audit. If the reply damages the pawn shield, the next tactic gets easier. Look back one checkpoint. 27. BD5 made the position fragile enough for 27. BXH 3 plus. The board is already drifting from 27. BXH 3 plus toward 28. RXH 3. 19th trade with a price tag. If the defender recaptures or ignores it, ask which square became a highway. This is the bridge to 28. QXH 3 plus where the defender has fewer choices. 20th collapse warning. The check forces a reply while the trade choice stays weak. A quiet detail from 28. RXH 3 is still hanging in the air when 28. QXH 3 plus arrives. Pause here. What square became harder to defend after 28? QXH 3 plus? The threat is still partly hidden. That is why this move is dangerous. It improves the queen access before the tactic announces itself. That is the proof behind the finish. The lesson from Tal-Fischer's hidden queen trap is concrete. The final tactic works because the earlier moves changed the defender map. In the My Chess Coach lesson, replay the quiet mystery positions, solve the puzzles, and name the clue before the payoff. The candidate move, the overloaded piece, or the square that changed. Then run the same checklist in your own game before you grab material or defend automatically. That turns this finish into a pattern you can recognize in real positions, not just a highlight you admire once.